Salutations. Name's Marcus. Um, I'm a gamer. I'm a energy aficionado, I guess. Um, I just wanted to do a live broadcast due to a certain desire, a light transition to understand what it means to share myself with other people. So, I've always been the type of person who has many ideas as to what it is that they want to say to other people, to talk to them, to understand something, to understand myself by talking with other people, to understand how far I've gone and how much I'm actually able to understand. There are many things that I've practiced over the years: visualization, hearing voices, um, syncing with the universe.
Talking about these things that most people don't find value in, such as important topics or the idea that we can discuss things with other people that are kind of hard to talk about. I would purposely engage myself with these thoughts about what it means to be who I am, what it means for everybody else to be who they are in my life. And every now and again, I would allow thoughts to become uncontrollable tangents of mine, trying to understand these things. So, for the first live stream I've ever done on YouTube, I wanted to vocalize this. I wanted to understand how it is I can do things better in my circumstances versus just seeing things from a narrow point of view. I could never be narrow. I would always be trying to understand other people, the way they feel, the way they understand things, the way I understand things, and how that affects the people around me when I'm confident, when other people are unsure of themselves or doubting everything that comes out of their mouth. It's been a very interesting cycle of life from what I've noticed from other people and how they adjust themselves accordingly, because either they allow the cycle to rip them apart or they become stagnant in themselves. I've become very stagnant in myself. I allowed teachings to be something I was absorbed in, to the point where I never really wanted to think for myself. I never really wanted to allow myself to be free of the ideas that I had, the discomforts that I've had in my life, or even justifying these things by finding other people who think the same way. But even when I was on the cusp of becoming somebody I never wanted to be, I would always think differently. I would always want to adjust myself somehow, some way. So I've learned through different teachers who I'm extremely grateful for. Kelly Coffey, Ralph Smart a little bit. Yeah, I watch Ralph Smart a whole lot. Paris Aquino I learned a lot from. Someone that I know who is dear to my heart and is irreplaceable, that I've known for at least a year, 2 years, maybe. No, it's been a year. So I've known her for a year, but still, that time spent with her was immense. It was powerful. It was life-changing, because I got to face myself through self-reflection, because I was finally given the ability in my life to be with someone completely without worrying about judgments or feeling like I needed to hold back, that I could be myself, that I could talk to her the way I want to be able to talk to other people, the way I need to talk to other people. So I've begun the journey of understanding myself and what it means to exist here as a human being versus as a unit of society. Because being a unit of society has taught me that a lot of the things they tell you aren't true, or are only true through a certain lens if you're willing to see the truth. There are certain desires that we have, there are certain addictions that occur, there are things that seem abnormal if you don't understand the full picture. So I've literally, just as I done just now, moved back from it all, taking a deep breath, and realized that I see it entirely differently than how the mainstream or the popular idea sees it. The popular idea sees it as, this is illness, this is the human condition, this is what it means to be human, when I find that to hardly be the case. I find that there are a lot of individuals with crutches or pains or trauma that they don't necessarily face currently. I mean, this year has been a very interesting year, and I'm pretty sure a majority of people have come out of their shell in a way that would necessitate them to start looking for answers. And this live stream is basically me extending myself to people who are looking for someone who's never had anything supernatural really happen to them. Like, they didn't have things fly across the yard, they didn't have things change on them in such a sudden way that there was no way that they couldn't have noticed it happen. I've never had any instance where I was completely in a moment where I'm like, all right, this is it. This is the end of everything. This is definitely outside the realm of normalcy. The only time I ever got there was when I would partake in my one time and my one trip that is a repeated trip that I will go back to until I solve it, which I have. Therefore, I'm certain I have done all the necessary things to pass the idea that I should be afraid of the unknown. For that trip taught me many things. It taught me that as long as I feel like the things in my life are rotten, or the things in my life that surround me on a day-to-day basis are things that I could never change, then I'll constantly be at war with myself, instead of doing everything I can to bring that change that I want to see outward, inward first. Because a lot of people forget that even Jim Carrey has had his own awakening, but before that, he did say something such as, be the change, be the miracle that you want to see in the world. Because if you can do this, then you can do anything. If you can change yourself, then you can change even the hardest things in your life. Because most people would fear change. They would go against it. They would rather fight everyone around them and to stay the same, instead of realizing that they need to go. They need to let this person go. They need to let the situation go. They need to let it transform on its own. Whether that's burning a bridge or building a new with someone that you hate, or somebody that you're angry with and you don't know why. You're just angry with this person because everybody else is angry with this person. It's like any of these things could change your perception at any point. And I definitely came on here to do this live stream, and I'm stating this now to be as accurate as I can in describing what I've experienced and what I've come to understand, to share my voice, because I've always felt there are so many people who want to get the point across so badly that we've given into negative personas, such as Paul brothers, their drama, Rice Gum, their drama, even, the usual controversy that happens here on YouTube. It's a platform that has been slanted and changed to such a degree that it would harm the creators trying to do good. And I've seen Markiplier and his charities, PewDiePie and his charities, Jacksepticeye and his charities never reach any spotlight. They would be ignored, except the people who follow them. They're the people who will listen to them. They're people who will stand up and say, you know what, this creator is a good person. Even MatPat, he does charities and stuff like that, and they're good people, as far as I can tell. Everything about them, they're genuine. They do have troubles in their lives, but they're genuinely trying to be as authentic and as identifiable as possible. That way they don't fall into the trap of becoming their symbol, their image, their personality made big, their big-headedness, creating a personification of who everyone sees on camera. Because I will never be the person that will be alone at night. That will never be the person who sits there and edits the video. That's never going to be a person who is so worn out at the end of the day with a smile on their face, realizing that this is something that can work for them, that they can do this, that if they had the ability, they would at any point really give it their all. And that's what they put forward, is their all. Versus those who do shoddy work and barely do any editing whatsoever. And I'm definitely going to be one of those people who it's never going to be completely shoddy, but it's definitely going to be something that I'm never going to be remixing or editing completely. These are just ideas. You come here, you get what you get, and the majority of this is for me, so I can understand what I'm giving to you, what I'm giving back to myself. Because for a long time, I've been working with the idea of what it means to pour from a full cup versus trying to love and be grateful for something when I can barely be loving and grateful towards myself. So that was one of my many crutches. I would doubt myself. I would doubt that I had anything to contribute. But I really do. Everyone has something to contribute. Everyone's special. Everyone has something unique about them. And when I say special, I do mean it. I mean that these individuals, they can do so many amazing things. If only they realized that the only person stopping them was them. Just like I stood in my own way for a very long time, because I was trying to understand who I was through a mild alcoholic addiction to partaking of marijuana for a while and then psychedelics. I was trying to understand who I am at my very core, who it is that I am actually trying to be. Am I imitating or am I becoming? Because if I'm imitating, that means I'm neither genuine nor am I fully in my presence. And if I'm personifying something else that's not me, what's the point? What's the point of saying anything? What's the point of sitting in front of a camera or even discussing anything? Because none of it will apply. None of it will show up. None of it will actually make the ground that it needs to make in order to get anywhere. And frankly, even just sitting in front of this it just gets me hot, and hot for a certain kind of reason. My body temperature is hot. It's because this house is hot. Because I feel like I'm still working through something, almost like I'm physically ill from the idea of sitting in front of a camera and talking to it, talking to myself, talking to a supposed audience that either will or will never see this. So it's all about perspective, I guess, because Frankly, that's all you got. If you were to realize everything around you was just a mirage the entire time, and some people actually have this happen where their friends aren't necessarily their friends, or their family talk shit about them behind their back. It's like, that's just part of life. It's part of the learning process for some people. They learn that regardless of how good they are to other people, it seems like other people will always have a gripe with them, even when they put their best forward for those people. It's like all they can ever do and muster is to be negative, to be spiteful for somebody who's constantly there for them. And it hardly means anything. I mean, that person's going to be spiteful because they hardly know what it means to be a functional part of your life. They see you as somebody who's a threat to everything that keeps them negative. You're the change in their life, where they think that if they embraced you, they would lose everything they were. And that's just terrible. It's a really terrible way of thinking about it, but it's one of the more closer resemblances to what it means to be who we are as an actual entity on this planet. It's like I never fall into anything like religion or anything. I fell into Christianity because I wanted to be a good servant to God. I wanted to give my all to something that's judging me constantly. I wanted to be safe more than anything. I wanted to be away from the things that terrified the shit out of me. I wanted to know that my spirit wasn't going to be destroyed, or my soul wasn't going to be torn apart in hell forever or on this planet because I'm a sinner and I deserve pain and agony. And I still fell into that to such a degree that it affected my trip even after I was done for like several years and had nothing to do with Christianity anymore. I still carried that around, that idea that all of this is just going to fall away, and then I'm going to realize that yes, I'm alone, but at the same time, yes, I'm going to take every ounce of suffering and pain I can muster out on myself. And frankly, that's a terrible way to live, but people live it. People that fall into addictions, they're constantly punishing themselves. People who get triggered by certain things, they also fall into that category of never letting it go. They're constantly hurting themselves. It's because we fail to understand the idea and the concepts put forth by science and all these other applications of knowledge that yes, you are more than your physical body. You have the capability to become anything you think you are. As plenty of people have put forward. And when they put that forward, a lot of people just kind of ignore it. I mean, MatPat had a video about Laurel and Yanni, I believe. That one's actually really good for this. That one is an actual lesson on how your thoughts, your imagination, your key to all of this, to making something different, is right there. It's obvious. Because he talks about how you can change somebody's perception of something depending on what they hear and what they see. So becoming the miracle when life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you, are very valid points. They're very valid keys, words. Yeah, they're like keywords, key terms, for those who are still in school. These are your vocabulary words or phrases that actually help you do better. Because a lot of people who believe in themselves, who have faith in what they can do versus what other people can do. You can see other people succeed because you believe in their success. You believe in what they can do, what they bring to the table. You can see their work, their exhaustion, their energy present, that they're willing to put it forward for you, either in a physical form, verbal form, or even just just them being present with you or in front of you for you to see, for them to act out or do what they do, like dancers. They perform for you. They do all these things to show you that they have what it takes. They have the ability to take what they enjoy doing and transforming it into something that they can do for the rest of their lives near about. Though, again, it's all about expression. And the fact that you gotta believe and have faith in yourself. You gotta be able to take the hardest parts of your life and realize that in a lot of ways you could have taken it better. You could have done things from a different state of mind. I've learned a lot of things from other spiritual teachers. Ryan Cropper was another one. He's really good at this. He's learned quite a bit through his own way of doing things. But all these people started somewhere. They needed a platform, so they chose YouTube. And why not YouTube? Because it does have one of the best forms of opening a door for others to make the acquaintance of quite a few people. And by meeting these people halfway, or at least in a way in which people can join in, people can have a discussion. I mean, even in their communities, they still have people who will show up out of the blue and be people who are completely against everything they stand for. Even those people, all they are doing is validating the idea that change is scary, that there's something to fear and challenge, instead of saying, you know, I have some examples in my life where I would disagree. And yeah, there are quite a few people who would essentially disagree with certain ideas, certain topics, certain discussions. But I'll leave that for another day. Because I have plenty of experiences where it's correct and where certain things actually work out due to the fact that I was willing to put myself in something that was uncomfortable and find a way to get comfort. So, much love and blessing with light, warmth, and guidance to you, whoever is watching this, to myself, because that's the one I can see, to all others who are guided here. May your lives work as smoothly as possible. May you find your shore. May you find your guidance. May you find your keys to your freedom. Because there are many things we can do to set ourselves free. Take care.